Hate this chair. All right, it's time for another Q&A. I'm gonna answer more questions that I have been lately. I've only been doing maybe like up to 10 lately, but I figure, yeah, who really cares? I mean, some people probably like when I answer more questions. Some people probably don't. But you know, I figure it doesn't really matter, and I got nothing better to do. So started off. I got a few questions about Angels and Airwaves' new song that literally just came out today, called Tunnels. This person says, thoughts on Tunnels? This person says, new AVA track. Tunnels came out today. What you think? And then another one says, have you heard AVA's new song Tunnels? Yes, I have. I mean, I'm not going to really go into it a lot because I'll probably end up doing a CD review soon enough, whenever it leaks or comes out or whatever. But you know, it's really cool. You know, it's definitely another very different song than what Angels and Airwaves is certainly known for, so I'm very happy about that. But you know, Tom's singing sounds really good. The overall just like essence of the song is enjoyable to me. I don't think it's something that a lot of people are gonna find disappointing, so I definitely like it a lot. Next question. Have I thought about building a custom telly from Warmouth? Yes and no. I mean, not seriously, but I've been wanting another telly just to have, but I mean, I don't really think that I'll be doing that anytime soon. But what I really, really want, if I got another telly, is, I mean, it's kind of nitpicking, but I like the telly deluxe type of thing with, you know, like the 2 humbuckers and then like the four control knobs down here. It's sort of like a Les Paul almost, but I'd like it to be top routed, or no, rear routed, so I don't need a pickguard. I think that'd be really cool, but I mean, at the same time, you know, I could just get a pickguard and not really worry about it. But yeah, if I was gonna do something, I'd probably do something like that, just because I already have like my other standard sort of telly going on, so I don't really need another thing just like that. But yeah, it'd probably be some sort of telly deluxe type of thing, but I don't know. I really don't think it's gonna happen, at least not anytime soon. Question number 3 asks if I like Black Sabbath. I mean, I can see their appeal, but I really never liked Ozzy, her singing voice anyway. I just never liked it. And old metal, I mean, I don't really get into that much anyway, and it's just very, very dark, and it's just very, I don't know, it's something that you'd really have to be in the right mood for. I mean, I don't mind hearing it on the radio every now and then or whatever, but I wouldn't really go out of my way to ever listen to them. It's just not something that it really ever stuck with me. Next song. Damn it, I did it again. Next song. Next question. What's Minnesota like, and do I like living there? I don't live in Minnesota. I live in Massachusetts. Close though, sort of. Massachusetts is cold a lot of the time. Right now it's snowy and cold, and it's kind of warm today. It was like 40 something today, so a lot of the snow's melting, but I don't know. The summers are pretty hot and the winters are pretty cold, so I mean, I feel like we don't really catch a break at all, ever. Next question. Um, would you prefer chocolate chips or raisins in your cake or muffin? Personally, I don't think raisins get enough love. Um, I would always prefer chocolate chips over raisins, but I do enjoy raisins. Um, like Raisin Bran's, not bad, not a bad cereal. Cinnamon, or not cinnamon, just like oatmeal raisin cookies, stuff like that are always pretty good. But I love chocolate like nobody's business, so chocolate chips will always win over raisins. Um, Favorite tapping riff, and do you do a lot of tapping yourself? Um, Someone, I'm pretty sure, asked me this recently too. I really don't get into tapping. It's just not something I really enjoyed that much. Um, but favorite tapping riff? God, there was a cool one from Funeral for a Friend that I did a cover of a while ago. Went something like, how'd it go? That one was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, if I'm just like playing around or if I'm writing my own music, I almost never go to tapping. It's just not something I really got into, really. I mean, there's plenty of players I like out there that do tapping and stuff, but I mean, I don't know, I never really incorporated it much into my own style, really. Alright, next question. Does it bother you when bands have songs based on religion when you don't agree? Like when a band has a lot of religious lyrics and you're an atheist, or can you just ignore it and enjoy the music? I mean, if it's really, really obvious, then it might bother me, but for the most part, I care more about the song itself other than the lyrics. I care more about like the instrumental section more than the lyrics, and I care more about like the melodies themselves other than what they're actually saying. But I mean, if they're trying to shove some sort of religious view down your throat, then yeah, it might put me off a little bit. Where does the Little Red Guitars name come from? And how did you come up with Little Chaos? Little Red Guitars started as an old Instant Messenger screen name that I had. It was taken from the song Little Guitars from Van Halen that I really like. It was never like my favorite Van Halen song, but I don't know, I just thought it sounded cool, and it was a cool song in general. And the red part of that was just because I liked Eddie's red guitar, so Little Red Guitars, that was pretty much my thought process with that. So yeah, it was an Instant Messenger screen name I had for a little while, and I just kind of brought it over to my YouTube account because it was just like a login name that I was using for a lot of other stuff at the time. And I mean, it was just Little Red Guitars, and then that channel got banned, and then it was Little Red Guitars 1, that one got banned, and now I'm Little Red Guitars 2, so there you go. Little Chaos, though, I honestly don't even know. I think it was, I named a song after that I wrote when I was like 15 or something, and I just kind of took the name as, I took the name and made it like the band name, and then turned that song into just Chaos instead of Little Chaos. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I thought it sounded cool for a name when I was younger, and honestly, I'd change it now, at least like my Facebook page, but I'm pretty sure I can't, so I can't do anything about it unless I want to lose like 3,000 people. Next question. Do you choose one guitar to play each day, or do you constantly switch all day? I don't know how I could decide to play or what to play if I had as many guitars as you. Basically, I don't really play as much guitar as most people might think, and if I do play a lot of guitar in a day, it's usually going to be the guitar that I'm in that mood to play. I mean, each one of my guitars sounds different, which is important to me. It didn't used to be that way. It used to be pretty much each one sounded practically exactly the same, and I thought that was cool at the time, but it didn't really make a lot of sense. So, I mean, if I want like a Stratty sort of vibe, I'll obviously pick up this one. If I want like a classic rock type of thing, I could pick up like my 335. If I want to just play a heavy ass fucking Telecaster, I'll play that, you know. If I want something just simple, I'll play my Orange Strat, you know. It really depends on the mood. But a lot of times if I get a new guitar, that's usually the one that I play for like a week or two, unless I'm really just in the mood for a certain type of sound. So like when I got my new Les Paul, I mean, I played that one for a good amount, like the first few days, and I don't think I played anything else. So but this one won today, so what guitar will you be jamming as you film this Q&A, I wonder? This one. This is Sylvia. They don't all have names. A lot of my guitars have had names. Yeah, they don't all right now. I gotta think of some more names. Let's see, my black Strat, when I had that one, that was Ursula. My Ocean Turquoise Strat that I sold to my friend Matt, that was Lola. The yellow Strat, the baritone one, that one was Buttercup. And whatever else. I can't even think of anymore. But yeah, I chose this one just because I went to my luthier yesterday, and he helped me do some little bit of upkeep on this one, just because I was having a hard time really getting it to where I wanted it. So just been playing around with it, and it's just playing really good, so I figured why not. Any good bands or albums you can recommend that you've heard recently, apart from Such Gold, which is awesome, by the way. That Such Gold album's pretty sweet. I haven't really been listening to too much new stuff. Been listening to the new Foo Fighters a good amount. That was a pretty solid album. I've been listening to a lot of Rush lately. I've just been really in a Rush mood. Mostly like their 80s stuff, like Moving Pictures and Signals. And I've been in a very big Bayside mood, especially the Killing Time album. That's definitely my favorite album. But nothing really new I've really been listening to that I can think of. So if you haven't heard any of those, definitely check them out. What's my favorite guitar strap color? I love my white Ernie Ball one. I see you have one on that telly. Yeah, I got a white one on the telly. This one's got a black one. The Fiesta Red Strat did have a purple one. It's still going to have the purple one on it. The orange one has a red strap. Just, I don't know. I've had that red strap forever. And I'm pretty sure my 335 also has a black one. And I'm pretty sure that's the one I've had like the longest. I've had that a very long time. But I actually just bought a couple more Ernie Ball straps just because I got a couple that aren't Ernie Balls, and it's just kind of annoying. But I just like the Ernie Ball ones. I wish I could find the rainbow ones. The rainbow ones are cool. I've seen those around every now and then. I know Tom used one for a little while. I just think it looked cool. But my favorite one is probably the purple one. I like the purple one a lot. But I did recently buy a green one, like a forest green, I think it was, and then like a navy blue one. I don't know what guitars they'll go on, but those ones are cool. Am I looking forward to Thrice getting back together, and how long do you reckon it will be before they decide to start up again? Honestly, if they get back together or not, I don't really feel like it would make that big of a deal to me, because the last album really didn't do much for me. The album before that, Beggars, was really good. But every album since Artist in the Ambulance has just been different and different and different. And I mean, none of them have really been bad, but I don't know. I haven't loved them as much as I really liked Artist in the Ambulance. I mean, VC was great, and I liked a lot of the Alchemy Index, I think it was called. But I don't know. If they got back together, cool. If they didn't, oh well. Favorite movies: horror, comedy, action. What's your favorite genre? I definitely prefer comedy, I'd say, but I mean, I do like a good like suspenseful movie. I just saw Gone Girl recently. That was really good. Definitely had a hell of a curve to it. I mean, I like action movies too, like I don't know, like any like the superhero, like Marvel movies or the Batman movies, stuff like that. But I mean, my favorite movies are pretty much all comedies, like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Superbad, Happy Gilmore, stuff like that. Did I ever lower my guitar strap when you first got into Blink? Haha. I did when I was a teen before I settled on a position. Do you ever mess around with your guitar strap length, or did you find a position that was comfortable and stick with it? I mean, every now and like when I was younger, every now and then I'd try it pretty low. I mean, Tom used to play it really low. But it was never very comfortable. So all of them are pretty much just like right here. This just feels good. So pretty much all of them are right around there, but each guitar is a little different too. So like my 335 might be like a little higher or lower depending on just like how the guitar sits. So next question. What's my favorite thing to do in Grand Theft Auto? It really depends on the Grand Theft Auto. The new one is just so much fun, just driving around and just causing havoc. Vice City, my favorite thing, honestly, was to just put on V-Rock and ride around on a motorcycle, just doing jumps and crazy studs and stuff like that. I loved doing that. But also just the storyline of that one. I really liked the story of that one. My favorite in San Andreas, I really liked like riding bicycles. I loved riding the bicycles and just get like your skill maxed out so you could bunny hop like over a 18-wheeler. That was fun. My favorite thing in 4 would be to just not play it at all because I didn't like it. So yeah. What's my favorite Broadway Calls song? I like Sundowners a lot. That's a good song. Do I think Tom DeLonge can get repetitive with his lyrics? I think everyone gets repetitive with their lyrics, no matter who it is. So it's not like Tom's any different from anybody else. Have I heard Royal Blood? Pretty sure someone showed me it. There were 2 bands, Royal Something and Royal Blood, that was showed to me like right around the same time. I don't remember which one I liked more than the other one. I think Royal Blood was the cooler one, but I don't remember. How do you go about writing a riff? Any tips for coming up with something different, i.e. like a particular scale or anything that you can come up with licks for? Probably like the best advice I ever got, not directly to me, but just something I read, was from the guitarist Elliot Easton from the Cars. And what he would do for doing like cool licks and stuff like that is he would just sit there and like listen to a song, say like he has like the rhythm of a song or something, and he would just try to come up with licks in his head first, like something that just made sense instead of trying to like force it, you know, either like maybe like hum along, or just think of like a melody, or even if it's not a melody, if it's just like a sort of like rhythm or something, if you know you want it to sound like, or you know, something like that, like I don't know, if you get like a certain like rhythm or something in your head, you can kind of go from there. Or if you know you want it to be higher or you want it to be lower, you know, definitely think about it first. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be in a certain type of scale or anything like that. Just think of how you want it to sound, and then if you come across something, just kind of try and slowly work it out. You know, it's something that definitely works for a lot of people. It works for me. Does it ever bother you that music is tied up into genres? Like how certain bands like Blink-182 and Man Overboard are both classified as pop punk, but pretty different. I mean, yes and no. I mean, I don't really give a shit about genres that much. I mean, I don't really necessarily love the fact that everyone thinks I probably just love everything in the pop punk genre just because I am a fan of Blink. What are you gonna do? So I don't know. I mean, it makes more sense to group those two together than to group, say, Blink-182 and Slayer together, or Anthrax or something, you know. I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, how many different genres do we really need? So what are my favorite and least favorite tracks off of Blink-182's Neighborhoods? I couldn't tell you. Lately, I've been really getting into Kaleidoscope a lot. That's a really good song. Least favorite, gotta be Fighting the Gravity. I never really liked that one that much. What are my thoughts on Gretsch Electromatic guitars in general? They seem cool, but I've never gotten to play one, to be honest. I'd like to try one. Do I have any recommendations for good distortion pedals for a nice punk sound, or how to get a nice distortion just from the amp itself? If you're asking how to get nice distortion from the amp itself, I'm assuming that you don't have an amp meant for a pop punk sound. Like if you're playing from like a clean Fender amp, it's probably not, you know, what you should be playing. But that sort of amp is usually good for throwing a pedal over. Some amps are just better suited for crunchy rock tones, like a Mesa Boogie or an Orange or a Marshall. But at the same time, you can get pedals that'll definitely help you get that sort of sound. But a good pop punk sound, or punk sound in general, it's really broad aspect. I mean, like I just got my new Love pedal, Purple Plexi pedal in, which sounds great, but I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily the sound that you're looking for. I mean, pop punk, like we just talked about a couple questions ago, is a pretty broad thing, and it can really encompass a lot of different types of sounds. So you just got to do some research on distortion pedals. There's a lot of good makers out there. I mean, you could check out Wampler has some cool stuff. Mesa Boogie's pedals are really great. I haven't used them, but they sound good in a lot of their reviews and stuff. So, I mean, if you want a sound like this, but probably with like a humbucker or something. If you want to sound like that, then yeah, try out like a Mesa Boogie pedal or something like that. I don't remember exactly the ones that they have that are specifically going to get you that sort of sound. I think, what the hell is it called? I mean, they have like 4 main pedals in their line, but you'll just have to check them out. I don't remember the names of them. I know like one of them's a Grid Slammer, one of them's Tone Burst or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember which one is really like the good, just like heavy rock sound one. What were some of my favorite video games as a teen? I thought about this question a lot. So when I was 13, which is, I guess, you can consider like the start of my teens, it was about 2002, and I'm pretty sure that was like right around when GameCube came out. Let me see. Yeah, it came out in 2001, 2002. So yeah, I was playing a decent amount of GameCube around then, like Smash Brothers. I mean, the second Smash Brothers at that time. Playing stuff like Wind Waker for Legend of Zelda. I didn't play a lot of GameCube. I mean, at that point, I was probably still playing a lot of N64, like Donkey Kong 64 and Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, stuff like that. And then, although I did play some PlayStation around that time, it definitely took me a little bit longer to really get into PlayStation, where I was playing a lot of stuff like Grand Theft Auto around when I was like 14, 15. Some stuff like that's when I was getting more into like Final Fantasies, like 4 and 6. And then it kind of went into like when I was in high school, when I was like 16, 17, and that's when I was really getting into stuff like Halo 2, Guitar Hero I was really big into. And then like a little bit after that, maybe when I was like 17, 18, I was really big into like Call of Duty and Battlefield. You know, I think Zelda, what was it? Twilight Princess came out in I think like 2007 or so. So I mean that's that sort of stuff. I mean you can definitely throw like some Metal Gear in there somewhere, probably around like 15, 14. I was playing that a lot. So I mean it definitely depended on how old I was, but that's pretty much how it went. Yeah, good times. Am I going to get a next-gen console, and if so, which one? I don't play games nearly enough to justify spending another few $100s on games and a new console and everything. I mean, my PS3 does more than what I need it to. I mean, I've been playing a little bit of Far Cry 4 on it, and you know, it's great. And I mean, granted, the graphics are getting a little bit outdated, but they're still awesome graphics on a PS3. So I mean, it's not a big deal. If I was going to get a new console, it would be a PS4. Maybe even get a Wii U, but I don't know. It'd probably more likely be a PS4. I do still have my Xbox 360, but I don't really play it anymore. I sold all the games and I just use it. And it's not even here. It's at my friend's house. We just like watch movies and stuff on it. So. But yeah, I don't play enough games. I try and focus more on guitar and my friends and my lady friend, and you know, it's not really something that I like to spend a lot of time doing, just because I feel bad that I could be doing something that's actually worth doing. As much as I do love video games, I try not to really spend too much time on them. What is my favorite Muse song and my least favorite? God, what the fuck kind of question is that? I could probably say right now my least favorite is probably Madness, because I've heard it about 2,000 times every day at work. Yeah, I really don't need to hear that song ever again. I don't really know if I could pick a favorite song. I mean, you can pretty much choose any song off of Absolution and it could be my favorite song. I mean, I really like Apocalypse Please. I really like Hysteria. I love Stockholm Syndrome. I love Sing for Absolution. You know, there's so many. So, I mean, pick any of those really. This is a good question, and this is actually, I think, the last question. Let me see. Another fucking question about tunnels. that was a new question that I just refreshed the page for, but I'm gonna go back to this other question. If you were to make Angels and Airwaves love albums into one album to make 12 tracks, what songs would you keep and get rid of? Let's see. I would keep Young London, so let's say I'll keep that one. I would keep Shove. I would get rid of Flight of Apollo. I'd get rid of Epic Holiday. I'd get rid of Hallucinations. Let's say for right now, I would keep The Moon Atomic. I would get rid of Clever Love. I would keep Soul Survivor. I would keep Letters to God 2. I would keep Some Origins of Fire. So that's the first album, and that's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's half the album there. I would keep Saturday Love. I don't know about Surrender yet. I definitely wouldn't keep Anxiety. I would probably keep My Heroine. I would not keep Dry Your Eyes. I might take Moon Is My Witness. I would definitely keep The Revelator. I like that one. I would keep One Last Thing. I would not keep Inertia. I would keep Behold a Pale Horse. And I would keep All That We Are. So let's see how many songs it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there you go. It would be Young London, Shove, The Moon Atomic, Soul Survivor, Letters to God, Part 2, Some Origins of Fire, Saturday Love, My Heroine, The Revelator, One Last Thing, Behold a Pale Horse, and All That We Are. I think that'd make a pretty solid album. And if, like, let's just say if there was an album of only the other songs, like Flight of Apollo and Epic Holiday, Hallucinations, Clever Love, I'd be pretty bummed out. I really wouldn't like that album. So, alright, and let's see if there was any new questions just in case. Alright, I guess this will be the last question. If you could play on any tour or festival with any band, what would they be? Probably like Newfound Glory or something, maybe in like some small clubs or something, just because their small club shows are better and they could really benefit from another live guitar player since Steve isn't there anymore. Yeah, their shows are just fun, their songs are fun. They seem like cool guys, and I don't know. I mean, I know most of the songs already, and I feel like it would make the show better if they had another guitar player. So, so that's the new Q&A. I'll see you again in a month. Let me know if you do like the, if you like more questions or less questions. I mean, I did maybe like 30 or so questions this time. Last couple times I've only been doing like maybe 10 or so. So, I mean, there was a lot of good questions this time around, I think. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.